We are honored to be joined by the Honorable Judge Jose Linares, who is the former United States Federal District Court Chief Judge and currently a partner at McCarter English. Good to see you, my friend.
Good to see you, Steve.
Jose, let's disclose something. Several weekends ago, I got a call from you, and I know when you call me on a weekend, it's important. And you said to me, look, we need to focus more, spend more time, and talk seriously about the opioid crisis, the drug crisis, and how we as a country are dealing with it or not dealing with it. And long story short, you said that our entire approach, much of our approach to treating those who are involved with drugs, using drugs as criminals is all off. Help expand upon that, please, Judge.
Sure. Look, we were having that conversation over a weekend about the drug use in the country in general and the opioid epidemic specifically. And I come at this from a different perspective, having spent many years in court and having sentenced many young kids, either because of drug-related crime or drug use-related crimes. I saw the fact that the way we're handling this is not working. Years ago, back in 2018, the federal court in New Jersey held what was at the time, I believe, the largest opioid symposium in the country, and we were able to bring together not only people from from politics, legislators and senators were there. The drug czar at the time was there. We had people from the pharmaceutical industries, the medical field, the psychological field. We had addicts, recovering addicts there. We had treatments people there. We had law enforcement people in trying to figure a comprehensive approach to how to deal with this problem. The problem with the opioid epidemic and drug abuse in general in this country is that it's not an issue-specific problem. It involves many different components, right? It's got a psychological component to it. It's got a medical component, especially when we're dealing with the opioid epidemic. It's got a law enforcement component to it, and it's got a treatment component. And how do all these things play together? For example, when I was in court, you would get a kid that comes in, has committed a drug use related crime. You decide, well, I'm going to give him a shot. I'm going to give him a chance. I'm going to put him in-house treatment for 28 days. And you tell him, I don't want to see you come back, right? And then 2 months later, you have him back in court and you say, I gave him a chance. Why? Because it doesn't work. 28 days worth of treatment, because maybe that's what the insurance coverage is not sufficient to treat the problem. That's one aspect.
Judge, why have we been doing that for so long? Why is that the standard judicial response?
Well, the standard judicial response, in fairness to the judiciary, was to try to not just be punitive, but to try to get treatment. And we could only get treatment, and these in-house treatment facilities were only taken for the time that they're getting paid. And so it becomes a vicious circle. That's one aspect of it. The other aspect, even from the law enforcement perspective, is that we look at drug-related crimes differently than we do mental illness crimes. And
what do you mean?
And by that I mean the following: we treat mental illness differently from a law enforcement perspective. You have some person that's got a mental deficiency, throws a brick off of an overpass on Route 21, and we take that person and we take him to get treated. We don't lock him up, right? An addict really has a mental problem, has a mental deficiency caused by the addiction. He commits the same crime. The first thought is not, let's give him treatment. The first thought is, we lock him up. Well, now you put him in a correctional facility, and the question is, does that correctional facility have the wherewithal and the understanding of how treatment is necessary? And
the basic answer is not. That's not happening consistently. Meaning, one of the things you said to me when we spoke offline, Judge, is that they're not getting the treatment that they need when they're incarcerated, on average.
On average, because of the length of the treatment that is necessary, right? If you think about it, and if you talk to the medical doctors that deal with it, that specialize in this kind of thing, they will tell you it takes probably a year's worth of treatment to be able to get some of these kids off of the opioid addiction and the progression of that addiction. Well, nobody's doing it for now. There's been a lot of litigation over the years. A lot of money has been infused into the system by way of these settlements, right? Which is supposed to be earmarked, a lot of it for treatment. I hope to God it is. But there's one missing component, Steve, and I know our time is limited.
No, go ahead. What is it?
I don't want to lose the ability to talk about this aspect of it. It's education. Education, look, it has worked with the tobacco industry, right? A lot less kids are smoking. A lot of our people from our contemporaries are not smoking because we saw the horrors of cancer and what happens if you smoke and what happens if you smoke addiction. You still have horrific commercials on TV. You don't see it about addiction. You really don't. Right. You don't see the kids being educated at the level before. One thing is treatment once they're there, but what about not getting there?
Why do you think, Judge, why do you think it's been so difficult to incorporate that into our educational system?
I don't know. It is insane to me that, look, kids are dying, 100,000 people a year. I mean, it's crazy. If terrorists were killing American citizens at the level that people are dying of overdoses, we will be throwing billions upon billions of dollars to fight it, right? We're not doing this. We're not doing it in treatment. And we're starting to do it in treatment somewhat, but certainly as a result of the infusion of the money, but we're certainly not doing it in education. Look at TV. You can go through TV the entire night and you don't see one horrific, heart-pounding commercial directed at kids that show them dying and show them not breathing and showing all the horrific effects of opioid addiction. And opioid addiction, by the way, it's unlike the other ones that we're, usually hear of, the heroin kids and all that. When I said there was a psychological component, a lot of these people, a lot of these young, by and large, young people, get involved because of pain medication, right? They either athletes that get hurt or they get into the pain medication at some level. Oxycodone, on all this, and unfortunately, there is no prescription pain medication that's not addictive out there, right? And the stronger the pain medication you need, the more addictive. The more addictive. Right, the more addictive. So you have like oxycodone or fentanyl, for example, which is 100 times more powerful than morphine, if you think about it. Right. So the kids start taking these pills, and they don't think of themselves psychologically as even being addicts, right? They think of themselves, I'm taking this little white, cute pill that a doctor gives me, it's medicine. And they don't view themselves, and society doesn't view them originally as addicts shooting up in some stairway or some, bathroom sitting on a toilet, right? Oh, they're taking the pill. Well, what happens is they end up taking the oxycodone. Eventually, the doctors stop prescribing it. Now they got to go in the black market. There's very expensive. Well, what's the next super drug?
Dangerous, extremely dangerous.
Extremely dangerous because you don't know what is being cut with. It could be getting cut with fentanyl, which can kill you, heroin, and then you slip into oxycodone, legal oxycodone in the black market, not legal. Oxycodone is very expensive in the black market. Go to the cheaper drug, heroin with fentanyl, and you die. And 1 out of 5 addicts dies. I mean, it is insane. And we're not educating the American public about that. We're not educating our children about it. And that's what I felt very passionate about.
Judge, first of all, in a short period of time, you've sent a powerful message. Second, I'm glad you called to have this conversation. And most importantly, I promise you this will not be, and I know a lot of people say that in the media, this will not be the last conversation we have or bring others into this from a variety of perspectives, and a clinical perspective, law enforcement perspective, educational, et cetera. The Honorable Judge Jose Linares also.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I know we're done, but people like you have a responsibility, I think, to educate the public. I know you take that seriously, but I'm sending the message out there to everybody else. Let's start educating people. Let's start coming up with commercials that really educate our youth about this.
Jose Linares, the Honorable Judge Jose Linares, also a partner of McCarter English. Jose, thanks, my friend. We'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
State of Affairs with Steve Adubato is a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation. Funding has been provided by the Russell Berry Foundation, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, New Jersey Sharing Network, the Turrell Fund, supporting reimagined childcare. The New Jersey Education Association. Holy Name. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Georgian Court University. And by the Adler Aphasia Center. Promotional support provided by Meadowlands Chamber. And by NJ Biz.
Hello, I'm Dr. Luke Ironman, a family medicine specialist at Holy Name. When was your last visit to your primary care doctor? Throughout the pandemic, many patients have put off their annual physicals and screenings, but preventative health care is critical for early detection of illnesses and to avoid future health problems. Your doctor can also help you develop a wellness plan to achieve your personal health goals. Your health can't wait. Be proactive and talk to your primary care doctor today about scheduling your annual physical.